No,
I mean, pets.
It's not that. It's just that I really don't think that, like I said, I was going to bring this up. The prefrontal cortex. That's how we choose. That's like our choice.
Do they not have one?
They don't have one.
Are you 100% positive?
Humans are the only ones that have a prefrontal cortex, and there's a whole lot of research that is going on with that, and they're finding out that that's how we decide how to do things morally.
I thought God gave us our morals and values.
Well, maybe God decided not to give animals morals and values.
Whatever.
But I don't know. I don't think they have the ability, like say for example, to feel guilt. I don't think they can self-reflect.
Okay. Humans exist in a world which they are constantly recreating and transforming. If you're critically thinking, right?
Transforming.
Humans have the ability to recreate and transform the world, right?
By naming things. Do you remember that when in the chapter when she's like, naming things is actually creating. Naming something is creating, and recreating was.
So like giving something a name.
You create something by acknowledging it, by naming it. I would think that's how, you know what I mean?
So can you go as simple
Okay.
as a ball? A ball is a ball. You're creating a ball because you're calling it a ball.
Think about it. In certain cultures, let's say these big ships are coming over. We see them as ships. But in their culture, they're like, oh, it's a big serpent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they created this giant serpent because that's the only word they had for it.
Mm-hmm.
To us, it's ships.
But they're creating something. Okay.
Yeah, they created the huge serpent because they named it that because they had no other word for it. That's how I see it. I mean.
Oh, I see. Okay, so say for
And
example.
animals can't do that. Because they can't name things, they just know what they are just by.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I guess.
I can see with that. Yeah.
But those vervet monkeys, they have words for snake on the ground, and danger in the air, and danger from the ground, and danger from the sky. I saw a video on it.
I don't know. I don't think labels do a whole lot. I think labels just gives us a mean to communicate from one another to what we're talking about. Just because the thing doesn't have a name doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what was it? What's it called? Solopolism?
I don't know.
But actually, there's actually this whole philosophy about consciousness leading to existence. The consciousness of something. What's it called? And it has to do with quantum physics. It's actually really interesting the way it's like something doesn't exist until you.
Well, Ferrer mentioned it earlier.
Are you talking about like what? Have you seen What the Big? Do we know?
Okay.
That's a whole thing on quantum physics.
Really?
It's really interesting.
Ferrer earlier in the chapter, I can't say it's like solopolism or soloism, and Ozzy explained
I'm
it.
gonna try to look at it.
Ozzy explained it one time as it's like, say there's a chair in the room. Is there only a chair in the room because you recognize it as a chair? What if you close your eyes? Is the chair still there, or do you even, you know what I mean? So like it's self-existence.
But that would go with like.
See, I'm basing that. I'm thinking. Well, I guess inadvertently, I'm thinking about that now that you bring it up. But I think that, like I said.
So that goes back to naming things, though. Like, does something exist just because you name it?
I would say no. I would
Well,
say
in your own, if everyone has their own reality through perception,
Oh
right?
my God, this is getting to me.
If everyone has their own reality through perception and you don't perceive certain things, is it reality to you?
So is there not even one true reality? Is there a whole bunch of realities for different people?
I think there's a bunch of realities for different people, and
I'm-
everyone goes about their life the way they see
You
reality.
say we're getting at subjective, not relativism, but reality. Maybe it is relativism.
Subjective,
as well.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe there's just like a whole bunch of different realities. But then again, what's the line between reality and perception? Where's that distinction?
That's what confuses me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can get together and agree on this one reality when everyone has all these different perceptions of what reality is. And how can you impose your reality on someone else to agree with you? Because that would be working against this whole liberation.
I think you can never truly be free or be fully human based off what you just said off that.
I can see.
Because to me, being fully human is complete freedom and I guess everyone living all in one reality. Like everyone's all on the same page. But if you all have different perceptions, different realities, then you can never truly be human.
And then just the fact that
So,
freedom
like-
is an abstract concept. It's very abstract. You can't really, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
there's limitations to how free you can be without limiting the freedoms of someone else.
Mhm.
So you can't be as free as you want to be because then you'll limit how free Ozzy is or how free someone else is.
So, I just thought of murdering Ozzy.
Okay, the example is Cat murders Ozzy.
Right.
No, okay, because I thought, like, if I'm free to do whatever I want, and I want to go murder Ozzy, that takes away his freedom because he's dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it takes away the freedom of his family to be happy.
I don't like
I am the
murder.
source of my family's happiness. That's me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, okay, like if people live in fear of someone coming to steal their things because they are free to do so,
Mhm.
then it limits their freedoms to just
Yeah.
do
Like,
what they wanna
until
do
they
without
relax.
Just for you, so there's only one reality though. There's only one true reality. Does he even?
he doesn't mention that. I don't think
He only
mentions that at
he
all.
only mentions different perspectives.
See, to me, that's
Perspectives.
what I believe. I believe that there's only one reality, it's objective, and there's no arguing it. And our perceptions, I said objective, right?
It's subjective.
I'm sorry, objective. Reality
Okay.
is objective, whereas perceptions are subjective.
Okay, yeah,
See, and you just clearly separate the two.
So then, how do we get to the one
How-
true freedom?
yeah.
free
Okay, so how do
reality?
we get to this objective
Because
reality?
we already
Through
decided
perception.
that dialogue. I don't know if there's really even true dialogue between, unless you have a medium. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Is that where God becomes a medium? Just the sun.
Okay,
This
she's
makes-
saying
can't
she's
talk to
This
God,
makes me
can't you?
sound really. I know. This makes me sound really crazy, but like, okay, say the one true reality is like, I don't know, everything the Bible says, but we use God as our mediator to get to that one true reality that He sees that we don't.
But could he be a mediator if there's?
Yeah, see, to
see,
me,
that's
we,
so,
need to,
like-
we need to leave it on this plane.
I know, but like
Because-
that's what.
Because we can't.
But that's what I know. But that's
That's what I thought of. I thought of like, God has His perfect world, and we have what we see as our world,
And we're trying to attain this.
and we're trying to we're trying to obtain it, and God's our mediator to get to that. Like I see Him as a third party dialoguer.
See, that confuses me.
Mhm.
It really, like.
Well, because you
I-
use the
I'm-
word dialogue, and to
Yeah.
me, that would involve.
actions of being a good person and
Okay,
charity.
yes, but are you dialoguing
and
with
not-
him? Is he talking back to you?
But dialogues can be actions. Can't God give you signs?
But okay, in order to have dialogue, you have to both be at the same.
Oh yeah, we are not even close to God.
Yeah, you're right on
Okay.
I know, but that, I don't know. I just think of like the world.
I want to go back to his point of like objective reality and subjective perception.
How can everyone have true reality?
How do you get everyone to see this objective reality
I don't know. Maybe it is.
if they're viewing the
It's
world
not
through this
possible.
I'm not
subjective
saying
perception?
it's possible, but I think there is a difference between the two.
See, this objective reality is just things exist
So-
as they are.
Mhm.
But
Right,
There's
right.
no forethought behind it. They
Well,
just exist.
I mean, perceptions are interpretations, right? So, for example, if I'm looking at that tree out there, well, if I'm not even looking at it, it's a tree, right? It's going to be that way. It's not going to change.
It's only a tree because you named it a tree.
And in your perception, it's a tree, but in someone else's perception, it's
Whatever.
an
That
apple.
could be a bird.
Whatever.
No, I'm just
Okay.
saying. I'm just saying.
Well,
because someone
because-
else's perception, it has a different word. It has-
Well, using language, using our language here, yeah.
What do you mean by
Oh,
art? English?
Yes, anglais, yeah.
Art, English could be Spanish,
Okay.
could be French,
We
could be
can't
Italian.
we can't talk about this if we're going to be picky about language.
Okay,
we
go on.
can't.
Sorry. English language, go.
But I agree with that principle that I'm just labeling it, but I have to label it just for the sake of the argument, right?
Okay.
So if I'm looking at that tree, it's a tree no matter what, whether I'm looking at it or not. But my perception is that it's green. It's probably spiky. It looks like it's spiky.
A spiky green
And-
don't touch the porcupine.
And it looks like it's going to hurt if I run into it, right? Well, that's my perception. Whereas yours, it may look
Fluffy.
right, exactly fluffy to where it won't hurt you if you just run into
So
it.
being colorblind screws us all up.
How do you know you're not colorblind?
Yeah. So like I think for
How do you know your green is my green?
Exactly. What if I see that green differently? What if it's brighter?
That's what I'm
But
saying, it's
there's one true actual
If
green.
it's the schema
So like
of a
you
tree.
could be right and I could be wrong, but we don't know.
right. What I'm saying is that you're right. Everything's going to be subjective. We're all going to have our own interpretations, we're probably never going to agree on the objectivity of it. That it's going to be just as it is. But I think that involves dialogue, doesn't it?